Diksha Farms. So I get asked a lot about how do I plan all the different activities that are happening and how do I manage to get it all done. So today's episode, I'm going to talk all about what I do and how I do it. So first things first, I absolutely understand how it is to feel completely overwhelmed when there is tons of work in front of you and you have wonderful projects lined up and you don't know where to start, right? I always am in that perpetual state because I have a multiple things running parallelly at all times. So that comes with being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, and I really can't escape it. So there is my farm that has to be planned. There are activities continuously happening there. There is sowing to be done. There is harvesting to be done. There is manuring of the land, and there is tons of other things in between that's happening. At the same time, I have my online business, I have my workshops, my clients to support, and my farming classes, uh, and some of the mentorship programs that I run, a couple of times a year. So that's one thing. And then I have my soap making, not just the workshop, but also I do sell some of the soaps to some of my customers, and that's also a part of my business, online business. And then these are the things which constantly need my attention. And not to mention, I blog, so I document all my learnings on my blog. I mean, if you have visited my blog or my website, you would know that there are a lot of resources on gardening and the other sustainable living stuff that I write about. So the blog has to be maintained. I write posts every week. I have a YouTube channel that you are actually currently watching. So that's something that I have to create content for and to shoot videos. And I do send out newsletters bi-monthly. So there are a tons of items on my list at any given point of time, apart from all the impromptu stuff that comes in, like freelancing, writing assignments, or some of the times when I have to conduct workshops for a set of corporate or a school audience. So these are things that have to be constantly incorporated in my schedule. So it is absolutely understandable how you would feel like a scatterbrain most of the times, but over a period of time of doing this, I have created a method to madness, I would say, because there is madness, there is chaos every single day, but then there also has to be a semblance to what I do, because all the things that I do is something that I love. So nothing is forced, nothing is dreary for me. So everything is fun, and I want to keep it that way. So I definitely have to put the overwhelm on the side and start working on this project so that I get to enjoy the process rather than get stuck or overwhelmed, or uh, you know uh, kind of feel like I haven't done something which I was really wanting to do. So get started into what exactly are the steps. I'm not just going to tell you the regular time management tips and prioritizing and all this stuff, blah blah blah. I will show you what I do exactly, step by step. So probably I'm hoping that you will get a lot out of this episode. So stay tuned and keep watching. I'm just going to show you the next steps. So first things first, I will first show you the kind of journal junkie that I am, because the first thing is to actually write and to plan. So planning is crucial. Planning is number one. You cannot escape it. I cannot work without a planner, or to literally visualize my plans on a paper. Without that, I really can't function. So that's who I am. So I just thought I'll show you what are the journals that I have, and this time I've gone overboard with a lot of journals. So I'll just show you how I usually work. Let me just show you last year's journals. These are the number of diaries that I had last year. Okay, so this year, let me show you a couple of journals. I'll show you one by one, but these are the next set of journals and diaries and planners that I have currently for this year. let me just show you that one by one. So not just the regular planner, I do journal as well for my self-care. So what I do is I have this one beautiful journal that I picked up this year. I hope you can see it, and this has a lock and everything. So this is so very pretty, so very beautiful, and this is all handmade, and I just simply love it. So this is something that I have for my quotes. So I do write down some very inspiring quotes because I love quotes, and some of the things that I come across, I really want to be able to see it and look at it sometime during the days. So I always write it down, the things that I like. So a few things. I think the first thing that I have written on this journal is that this famous quote. I think I'm sure you would have heard about it. That I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. So that's something that really speaks to me. So I write that. And the most important thing for me this year to look forward and to do was to live intentionally. So that is something that I really want to, and I keep practicing to do that as much. And this is another quote by Richie Norton. Intentional living is the art of making our own choices before others' choices make us. It's really profound. So these are some of the things that I do right here. And the next one is this pretty little beautiful journal. And here also I have, this is again my personal journal. So I write a lot of things here, whatever comes, at that every morning I journal. So these are some of the things that I have written. So this is one thing. And here, this is another one of my journals. And I write poems and things that I like. I also do a bit of art here. So I'm just showing you this because just to tell you what kind of a journal junkie I am, because I need all this stuff. So coming to the important things now. Okay, so this is my farm journal that I picked up. I bought something like this because it shouldn't get dirty on the farm when I'm using it while I'm doing something. So this is my farm planner. And what I realized, what I did was, before I started, because I bought the journals a little ahead of time this year, a little bit of planning of course went, because otherwise I'm always a little behind in buying these journals. So I bought this a little earlier in the last week of December, so I had a time to look back. I think this is something that my daughter drew it and wrote it for me. So this is what I wanted to show you, that this was my 2018 farm plan. So I will also just show you a little close up a little later, but these are the things that I had. And for this year I have, for 2021 also, I have a few plans to what to do with my produce. A little a little more in-depth planning is going on, and I'll share with you that on a separate episode, but for now I think that would do. And there is my business planner, girl boss, yes. So I have these this planner comes with these partitions. So I have multiple businesses and things running, courses running. So I have this for separate, I can record things separately. So this comes in really handy for me. So I use this. And of course my everyday 2021 journal is here, so that I write down whatever is the plan for the day, and write it down the previous night so that I get to it first thing in the morning. This is my weekly success planner. Again, this is just to keep my weekly appointments, my meetings and everything on on hand. So these are my journals. And of course there is a table, a calendar, so I can plan my things out, and it's very clear for me on my desk. So now that I've shown you the different kind of planners that I have, I thought we'll talk a little bit about what it takes to go ahead. So I'll tell you how you can set your goals and get it done. What do I do basically to get these things done, right? So first thing is to set your goals and be very clear and have certain steps that you can follow so that you are right on track and you don't get sidetracked, finally not able to do anything and not take any step forward. So that happens to me also, and that's why I'm able to tell you that you shouldn't let that stop you. And for me, what helps mostly is to put things down on paper. So I call it like the brain dump. So I take a paper and I just put everything down, because as long as it is swirling in my head, I am constantly overwhelmed, because I just don't know, because there are multiple ideas going on and there are so many things and steps to it, that all of them together jumbled up in my head are of no use at all. Nothing happens except for the overwhelm. So I first put it down on the paper. So that's the first thing I do whenever there is a project, whenever there is a goal setting for the year, for the month, for the week, whatever it is. So unless it's on the paper, it doesn't get done. So I hope you are somebody who also does that. So this will be very easy if at all you are also somebody who would take it forward. So that's the first thing and the most crucial thing, I would say. And so let's get started to the point wise how we can go about it. So I follow a 5-step approach. So the first thing is to, of course, set realistic goals, because I have had audacious goals sometimes, and though audacious, some of them did materialize. But again, you need a lot more planning, and you have to be very realistic about how and whether you will be able to fit in all of those things, right? So being realistic is the number one thing that you can do. And another thing is, while I say that you should be realistic, I think goals have to have that little stretch where it pushes you out of the comfort zone, because only then and only then do we grow, right? So that is my belief, because if you stay in your comfort zone, there is absolutely no growth at all. So you have to have a bit of a stretch. Don't push yourself too much, but just have a little bit of stretch where it is kind of pushing you out of the comfort zone, where you have butterflies in your stomach, and you have to step into your fear and be able to accomplish that. So have some of those also in place, so that you actually get to take a step forward and grow, and step into who you are fully, and accomplish those things. So that is one thing. And then the most important thing I would say is to, once you have these goals set, you need to break it down, right? You have to have a broader plan of things, and then you also have to have the steps that you will take, actionable items under each of these broad categories, so you can move forward, because those broad categories don't get done automatically. You have to do 10-15 different things to actually achieve it. So only when you put down those actionable steps, the actions are the ones which will move the needle for your goal. So it can't just be an abstract thing, right? So that's the third important thing. And fourth, I would say, is to always have a timeline for each of these activities, right? When they are all vaguely written, and you have put everything down, you have a broad category, you have narrowed it down into actionable steps and everything, but you do not have a timeline attached to it, like when are you going to complete it, by what time are you expecting it to be done, I think it won't get done, right? There has to be a deadline. Deadline always pushes us towards finishing something. So that is very important, and I feel, and the timeline will also help you understand whether you have enough time for each of those activities. So put down a timeline, for each of those. And the final thing, and the most important thing, is to get down and start, because starting is where the action is, starting is where you will actually get things done, because otherwise everything looks very beautiful on paper, nothing gets done. So we need to get into action mode. So that is the fifth and the final one. So now let me show you what I do in all these 5 categories and how I actually write down my thing. Okay, first things first, how I start my brain dump activity. Usually, like I was telling you, it is very important to put it down on paper, or if you have a whiteboard, that's excellent, because I do also have a whiteboard, and I plan out everything on it once I am clear. So the first step I do is to put it down on a piece of paper. So this is how I start. I have a clipboard with me always, and I have a few loose sheets. I mostly use a one-side paper when I'm just starting out with a plan, because there's a lot more iterations to the initial plan that happens. So first thing I would like to tell you is to put it under broad categories. What are the important categories of the work that you do, right? And for someone who is working from home, like if you're a homepreneur like me, it's very important to have very clear cut categories and goals for yourself, so that you do not miss out on things. And it's important to be very clear. So my important headings, let's say, I usually have three categories that I mostly work under. I have a farm category, of course, and I have my blog, my YouTube, and my website, right? So, and my newsletters. So these are the things that I need to really take care of on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And the third category, let me say, I would put it down as my business, which is my online workshops and programs and classes, etc. So these are the three broad categories that I have, and I need to plan what are the goals for me under this for a particular year or a month or a week, right? So I usually write down a month-wise plan for my farm. So when it comes to my farm, I let's say I have to talk about, in case it's the month of January, then I have to talk about what I want to sow, right? So that is something that I have to write it, and then I have to start seeds for it. So I need to know at what time frame. These are the time frames also to be written. When do I start the seeds? Then the date of manuring. So let's say something like this, right? So these are the things and that go on. You can put that whatever is your category. And then coming to blog or things like that, I also have a editorial calendar where I write down what are the things that I will write about the blog post. Let's say I write one blog post every week, so there are four blog posts that I would be writing for that particular month. So it could be about how I plan, like I'm talking about in this video, or it could be about my how do I planted my corn, and how did I harvest my corns, and what is happening on my farm, or it could be any of those things. And of course I have to have a timeline, like let's say this is the month of February, so let me say February first week, which is February 6th or Saturday, if one of the blog posts has to go, the next would be my February 13th will be the next blog. So I need to categorize them. And coming to my YouTube channel, and again I kind of try to publish one per week, but it's not been happening. But let's say I usually have a plan for one each week. So I plan out and brainstorm and come up with ideas, and I write down the names of those and keep it ready. And I need to be able to shoot these videos and write these blog posts well ahead, so that I'm able to post them or publish them on a particular time. And my newsletter, again, it has to go on. It's a bi-monthly newsletter, so I need to prepare it for it to actually go on those due dates. So I write down the dates that are that it should go on. Coming to my business, I again plan strategically about what is the thing that are happening. Like for example, for my business, like first week, let's say my first week is always my chemical free or natural cleaners workshop that I conduct. So that is something that happens during the first week of every month. And my Wednesdays and Thursdays are always farm classes with my school children. So Wednesdays and Thursdays are mostly for that. And then I have my third week. When I move into my third week, it is my gardening workshop is happening. And any given month there would be my 30-day mentorship program also happening. So this is a broad way or the way I categorize and I plan out and what to look forward to. So when I put a timeline to all of this, in January what I'm doing, in February in my farm what am I doing, and things like that, it gives me a broad idea. And under each of these categories I also write a breakup or breakdown of each of them, so that it's more clear for me what are the steps I need to take, so that I'm not just looking at it and not getting anything done, right? So once that is done, so this is something that I work on, and then I refine it and keep going forward with it. And the next thing I do is I wanted to show you a day wise or week wise breakdown of my plans. So because I do a lot of different things in a given week, I always keep certain days for certain works. So like Mondays and Tuesdays of every month, every week, I dedicate it to write my blogs, right? And I create drafts, I flush it out, and then add pictures, what are the things that needs to go into it, everything. So that's happening. And because I am usually somebody who writes with a flow, if I'm writing, I write continuously, so I do not give my time. I think there are many of them who write at a particular time every single day of the month, and just generally writing is fine. I do write it all the time, but I also understand that for me, writing at a stretch and putting out all the things that are coming to my mind in a flow really works for me. So I really write it down continuously for a couple of days or 3-4 days, so that I'm done with my vlogs, right? And the next thing is, for example, Mondays and Tuesdays are this, and Wednesdays and Thursdays I have my classes. My Fridays are for, mostly these are, I keep it as per the week. Sometimes there is soap making happening, sometimes packing and shipping of these orders that I have gotten, that happens. Sometimes it's planning for my farm, that happens because Saturdays are for farming. So planning for my farm and activities for the school curriculum, I think about that. I write my newsletter sometimes during these days, and take care of my other business related things, right? And Saturdays are essentially for my farm. So we spend the whole day on the farm, and of course I plan it out, and whatever has to be done on the farm on that particular day, that's taken care of, and that's what I do. So unless there is a plan for every single day, I really get flustered, and I'm not able to work. And like I was telling you about my farm planner, so this is a very general way, or I wanted to just show you what I do to flesh out or bring out my ideas onto paper. And these are the farm journal that I was talking to you about. So this is how my 2018 plan was. I created a vegetable garden, there were fruit trees that we planted, and we also built our farmhouse. So that was the major huge project that was going on our farm that year. 2019, I did create my herb patch, and I had some of my millets growing. That happened too, so I put a tick here if you see. So this is from my old notebook, my old last year's journal, last to last day, that is 2019 journal. I just took it out, so I didn't want to lose out on it. I did have plans of having some chicken and goat, and that did not happen, and it's still not happening. So that's how it is, but still, it's a plan, it's a goal. Of course, things happen, things don't. And this was my 2020. I accomplished a lot of things here. I'll be talking about this as well. So we did a lot of outdoor plans for our outdoor seating for our farm. So there was these benches that we built outside, and we had this around the tree. We had a little platform built for sitting, having a cup of tea and reading books. We had a little rock garden that I was able to create, and we had a little net put out for my son to play cricket or football, so that he doesn't disturb the plants. And a little seating here and there was also created. And then I have my outdoor picnic table that was also on my plan for a very long time, and it finally happened. And this year, 2021, I'm going a little bit overboard with my gardening. I'm trying to make plants for vegetables or crops which I can actually preserve for a longer period of time. like the turmeric that I grew, and I'm going to be actually harvesting it and bottling it up and keeping it for a long period of time. So I'm going to grow a lot more tomatoes, lot more chilies to make chili powder and to preserve my tomatoes. So I'm actually looking at not just the seasonal crops that we'll be using it for our everyday, but also to talk about things that we can actually preserve for a longer period of time. So after 3 continuous years onto this farming journey, I'm finally ready to take that big step. So let's hope that one of my plans do come true, and I'm going to definitely try my best to get that happen. And I hope you are making big plans too. Okay, now that we went through all of those things, I quickly wanted to share a few tips for you to avoid the overwhelm and to get things done, and to share with you what I do and what are the tips that help me move forward. So, the first thing is I spend a very less amount of time on social media. So, yeah, that is the biggest, you know, drainer of your time, of your energy. And what other things that happen when you are constantly scrolling mindlessly is not only is your time getting wasted, you are also comparing yourself unrealistically with others who are in the same journey as you, or in the same niche or different niches. So I think that is something you can completely avoid by not spending so much of time. I know it's important. I know I post my content as well, and when I post it, what I do is I post a certain thing on a particular day. I engage for some time, and then I come back. I'm not there all the time, and then I go back again for a small amount of time in the evening, and I check and I come back. So that is what keeps me also sane, and not constantly comparing my journey with others really helps. So these are some of the tips, and another important thing is to keep learning. So though I have been in this journey for some time now, I constantly keep learning, because there is no dearth of knowledge out there. There is so much out there to keep learning and keep improving ourselves. So that is something I listen to podcasts, I watch videos, I do read a lot of books. So a lot of things that you can do within your niche, outside your niche, whatever it is, just learn, keep growing in your field. That is an important tip. So spend your time wisely in learning a lot of things that can help you move forward. And of course, while you do all these things, the most important thing I realized in my entrepreneurial journey is to take time off to celebrate. Because yes, we are accomplishing so much. Yes, we are living our dreams and pushing our goals forward. It is important to take the time off to celebrate those little successes, because what's the point of just chasing goal after goal when you're not going to take the time to actually reflect and to see how far you have come. So celebration and taking time off, and as frequently as you can, is the most important thing. Because for me, the reason I am in this field is for me to be able to have control of my time. I decide what and how much I do. So that has been an important aspect for me, and I take that very seriously. And so this journey of doing a lot of things should also mean that it is not all work, but you're taking time off to relax and to slow down and to smell the flowers, like they say. So for me, yes, this farming journey has slowed me down, has made me realize to be in the present, and to enjoy the process rather than to always only look out for when I'm achieving my goals. So even achieving the goal, or being in the process, is something that I consciously try to enjoy. Though there will be challenges, though there will be struggles, but then that is the way it happens. Having said that, remember that we don't live to fulfill our goals. That's not the only thing. We live so we can enjoy each moment that we're alive. So make sure that you do enjoy the process and not miss out on that. I also hope that this episode would have helped you in planning and maybe reduce the overwhelm a little bit, and to achieve all your wonderful dreams that you have and the goals that you want to achieve. And if you're a gardener, by the way, then I think I have actually written an elaborate post on how I planned my garden step by step. For I think it was written a couple of years back, but I'm sure it will come in very handy for you. So do check it out on my website. And I really hope that this episode has helped you with the overwhelm and with probably planning for your goals a little better. Thank you, and I will see you next time.